Do you want to start this open?
This
Do you want to start this?
open mic therapy session?
No. Do you want to? I'm so flustered from what I just saw. So I'm asking you, do you want to start the cold open?
I mean, I can.
Well, please do then.
All right. So, in case people don't know, we're talking about The Crow.
I think they know from the title of the review.
I know.
They should know that.
I'm just playing that out.
Okay, since you're terrible about this, you don't have enough practice. There are some movies should be left untouched. If you're going to do a remake, it should be better than the original. And what we have so far, I don't know. I mean, really, I don't know if there's any remake that is better than the original. Does anything come to your mind?
I'm quite certain there's one out there. I just can't think of it at this time.
Okay, this is what I'll say. Batman. Let's take that. Tim Burton's original Batman, Christopher Nolan's original Batman. I would say Christopher Nolan's Batman is better than Tim Burton's Batman.
You talk about the Batman Begins is better than Batman.
Correct.
I got a better one. It just came to me. John Carpenter's The Thing. The original of The Thing was like a black and white picture.
Oh, okay, hold up. All fairness, The Thing is one of your favorite movies, but okay.
But it is a good movie. It's good for a lot of reasons. And on top of which they just did it better. Like, and granted, it's better technology, but there, as we're about to talk about, we have better technology here. It doesn't make it necessarily a better film.
Right. I mean, this is what this film did. It did two things.
Yes.
It made me forget that I was in a car accident this weekend.
Yes. And I'm happy that you're okay.
I am, yes. But it also made me appreciate the original far more than what we did on our review. In our review of The Crow, I was dogging the original, I thought, for valid reasons. This movie,
they moved you.
This movie made me rethink. And the thing is, it's a shame because I'm still editing that review that I wish I can just change it now and we could do it all over again. We're not, because we did a long ass review and I have a lot to edit. But Brandon Lee's The Crow is far superior than this.
I feel like we should also watch
now.
Crow's City of Angels, because you did make the statement City of Angels was better than Brandon Lee's.
The only reason why I feel the City of Angels is better in the sense of the actor's portrayal of the Crow. As a film. But no, the film overall is pretty good too. But like Brandon Lee's is much closer to the original source than we have here. This movie would have been okay, in my opinion, if they didn't keep the same names of Eric Draven and Shelley Webster.
Story, like some of the other.
It could have been a sequel. Oh, guys, remember The Crow back in the day? Here's another sequel to that,
like they did with Salvation and Wicked Prayer, or City of Angels.
Yes, the story of The Crow moves on.
Yeah.
But I don't want to waste some more time on a cold open. I just want to get into it. With a Rotten Tomatoes score of 20% by the critics and 66% by the audience, this is our review of The Crow. I don't know. There's not even fire it up. Fire it up. There's not even that. It's not even this movie. They don't even say that. Fire it up. They don't.
It can't rain all the time.
That was a good one. Good job. All right. Good catch there. Welcome back to A Tale of Two Bros. My name is Angel.
I'm Adon.
Where we give a review at least once a week. Spoiler alert. Look. I'm wearing I'm so still flustered. I'm wearing the shirt that I feel is the blockbuster film of 2024.
As of right now, it is technically.
And listen, the summer is almost over, and nothing has come close to touching that movie.
Yeah, there's a couple films that maybe come the fall and winter, but that's going to be close.
I mean, especially a comic book related film, because The Crow is based on a comic book.
Yes.
Deadpool and Wolverine, we know that. So, before we get into it, what was your theater experience?
So my theater experience, I actually went at opening. At 10 a.m. in the morning, like opening of the theater.
Right.
So no one was there. Okay.
So I saw it today, being Sunday, around 2:15, and there was hardly anyone in there.
That sounds about right.
On a Sunday, it was me, Kim, maybe 5 other people. I saw maybe 1 or 2 trailers for this. And from the get-go, when I saw it, it's going to be crap. Because I already saw that they're not staying to the source material. Yeah. As we mentioned in the cold open, that the only thing that have similar is the 2 characters, Shelley Webster and Eric Draven.
The only similarity is the first names.
But still, Eric and Shelley. Come on. Mm-hmm. There's no Tintin. There's no Skank. There's no T-Bird. There is no Fun Boy. There's no Gideon.
It's all new characters altogether. You don't get Sarah. You don't actually. It's a whole different storyline. So you can argue this is not even a remake. This is technically a sequel because we don't even know their last names. Even her mother, like they introduced the mother character, and we only get Sophia. We don't even know the mother's last name.
Yeah, we don't even see the gravestone either.
Yeah,
at the burial,
they don't even get a burial.
No, they came from a funeral.
No, oh yeah. They just walked out the church.
Right.
Which I got issues about that too.
You have the director, hardly inexperienced. So real quick, we have Skarsgård. We love him in Boy Kills World. He did a great job in that, even though he had no lines in the sense of speaking. He didn't speak.
He's done other great films, though.
Oh no, he was in It and other. He was in John Wick 4 and all the stuff. FKA Twigs. She's in maybe 1 or 2 movies I've seen, and I'm sorry, she was unattractive to me. I mean, the girl has black hair but blonde eyebrows.
Fair enough.
I'm going against her looks. I understand them. That's maybe not right. And Love is Blind, what have you. But that whole love story makes no sense either.
I agree with that.
Rupert Sanders, the director, he has directed
some good
Snow White and the Huntsman. Not really. The Snow White and the Huntsman, that was the only thing that was good. Ghost in the Shell, never saw it, never cared because I don't care about Scarlett Johansson taking all whitewashing films. Now, granted, she's a robot and everyone is Japanese except for her. Fuck that. And pretty much everything else, he's like music videos or shorts he has done. So the guy has very little experience. Same thing for the 2 writers, the screenplay writers, based off the comic book of James O'Barr. But you have Zach Balan, who did, I'm so pissed off. He did Creed 3, not a good film.
Okay.
He did King Richard, which did good ratings and over. He did Gran Turismo. That's not a bad film. I enjoyed it, but it's based off a true story. Bob Marley, One Love. So his level of experience and stuff like that is also short. And then you also have William Joseph Schneider is like short films and
there's a lot of introductory people on this project.
Right. And it's like you needed a seasoned director, a seasoned writer or writers. Mm-hmm. This felt like X-Men Origins, Wolverine. You keep some of the original, but then you go into a different way. And you have the guy who was like, why does this guy keep playing villains? He didn't seem right for the role.
Well, I mean, I like Danny Houston.
Yeah, but come on. He was the bad guy in X-Men, Wolverines. He is the bad guy in Wonder Woman. Everything he's done is bad guy, but it's like redundant because he was almost the same in Wonder Woman in a way.
Yeah, I mean he gets typecasted a lot because that's what you expect out of his role a lot of times. He doesn't, I won't say he doesn't have range because I've seen him do other stuff.
Tell me he's a villain or a dick. It's very rare that he's a nice guy.
That's like Sean Bean. Well, you watch Sean Bean, he's usually going to die. And so, like, usually when you see this guy, he's going to be a villain or a dick.
Like, again, as we mentioned, it should have been better off as if it was a sequel, the Crow mythology. And they had a little bit of Avengers in this. Endgame and Infinity War. The guy, the old man, the old Spanish guy in the purgatory, if you will, he was the Red Skull.
Oh, because he was also the paramedic?
He switched bodies. Eric is now the leader of the purgatory. He's the king of purgatory. He switched places. That guy became alive.
Because you're talking about Gamora, not Gamora.
Gamora? Yeah, Gamora.
No, Gamora was the one that got sacrificed by Thanos. Black Widow was the one that sacrificed herself for the stone.
Right, but what I'm saying though, but the Red Skull was the keeper of the stone.
True. Yeah.
Right, and that old man was the keeper of that subway station, if you will.
And he does have a name. It's Kronos, played by Sammy Boyagila.
He had a name?
A lot of these characters had names, and which blew my mind because I never heard any of their names.
So anyway, when Eric sacrificed himself for Shelley to come back, which I was like, really? And I saw that, I was like, oh, it's a Red Skull. And then they had the Joker element in this. You know that the sequel coming out, Joker Part Duel, whatever that thing is coming out
with Harley Quinn.
Yes, it had the same feel because instead of an insane asylum, they're at a drug rehab.
Yes.
And that's where he meets Shelley. And that's where they fall in love, or they start to fall in love. In the Joker sequel, he meets Harley in there. She's an inmate and they fall in love with her. So when I was seeing it, I was like, oh my God, it's the Joker story. And then how it ends, it could be how Joker ends, where he's like, you don't know if it really happened or it was a figment of his imagination. She wakes up while he dies. Like she happens to not die for the thing.
Which negates the entire situation of what we watched.
Right. The thing, she just wakes up. The paramedics happen to be there at ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
And then she sees the guy, the paramedic, kind of like also with the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
When Dorothy wakes up and she sees people that was like her family and friends that were the Scarecrow, the Lion, the Tin Man, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like the same thing here.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing about it is like, because she wakes up and that whole situation, because when he first wakes up, she's not there. And
correct.
And now this happened, and it was like over a span of time, like over one night, I want to say.
Possibly, because it's not really sure. The time frame is
2 days.
not really
2 days, because of the funeral. Minimum of 2 days. We'll say minimum.
But when does he wake up?
It's supposedly the same night. Yeah, moments later. Kind of like, what you talked about, like that's more true to the book, that it was like an hour later or something like that. But all these events happen, and he like is supposed to set the wrongs right.
Well, no. In the original, he's buried, but it's not a year later.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean by that. But I'm saying the whole purpose is to set the wrongs right. But is that now just saying the wrongs right spiritually? Is this an alternate timeline situation? This just it seems weird.
That's the only thing I can say that was related to the original. In a sense, the old man is saying, and also Eric says in the beginning, he's the narrator instead of the girl. He said, but they say the same thing. Once in a while, a soul is, so uneasy that he come back to the whole phrase, and it says of why the crow exists and why this is going to happen.
I mean, that's the only thing from the original that they did, like from the story.
Pretty much,
that was on repeat,
right? But the healing factor, they kept it from the same thing in the movie, even though that didn't happen in the comic book.
They did,
to my knowledge,
pain.
But Eric felt pain too once in a while. But Draven and Brandon, but here is more like you feel the pain, like Wolverine.
Yes,
it was totally like Wolverine Deadpool. You feel the pain, but you heal.
Oh, I will say this. So, okay, he was healing. It was kind of cool how he was healing, like it was mending itself more.
Right, and it was painful.
And it was scarred. But here's where it gets messed up. After the whole deal thing, where he's like, I'll swap places with her. And they do the
healing, they heal, the scars don't, the scars
all the previous scars are gone, and all the new scars are no longer showing. I would have been more elated for what you described in our previous video, where it was now there's no healing. He gets injured and just keeps going.
In the original, like in the comic book, he gets cut and scarred, whatever. So he puts the tape on to stop the bleeding and to hide the cuts and all that stuff.
Yeah, but how much more badass would that have been if he got out the tub and he still has the hole and he just keeps going? And then
no, of course, zombie, because that's what he was. He was a zombie in their book. He was a zombie. Here he wasn't. And also, like you have here, oh man, I'm so flustered. I'm blanking out. I could not believe they felt they were so madly in love. I could not believe it.
Yes.
They were together for maybe 3 months, and it shows that in a way because we see him as a kid with a horse.
Yeah,
that's like trapped in the
which
barbed
they
wire.
Never explained the whole thing about the horse. I kind of put things together, but that was like a moment that was not necessary.
Well, for me, what it was like he's trying to help the horse, and as he's trying to do something good, he gets hurt.
Okay,
because he gets cut. So that's what I was thinking of, and of course he's in bad times where he's living in a trailer park, and his mom's apparently a drug addict or whatever, because she's like in bed but not doing anything. So he's trying to help the horse, and I'm screaming out loud, get the wire cutters. Like, what the hell? You must have wire cutters somewhere. But then that's what I was thinking of, trying to do a good deed, and then he gets killed. That's what he's trying to do good to help Shelley. And then he gets in trouble, or he gets stuck in purgatory, if you will, to save her. So he sacrificed himself, in that sense. Similarity to the original, Shelley gets herself in trouble, and they both pay the price. Meaning, like in the original one, she's like lives in this house, and she's trying to get, trying to fight the powers that be. And the wrecking crew, if you will, they come in and they kill her and him to shut her up. Here, same thing, that she's trying. Well, not her friend, the blonde Asian, said, they had the video, which it makes no sense. Like, if you're going to threaten to show it, just show it. Granted, it incriminates her and Houston guy. What was his name in the movie?
Oh, his name was Vincent Rouge.
So, this reminded me, have you seen, because like as I'm thinking, I'm remembering other movies. Have you seen Longlegs with Nicolas Cage, the horror film?
Which is funny because I watch a lot of Nicolas Cage films.
Right, it's still in the theaters, and it's like an independent film, but is a thing where, spoiler alert for those who have not seen Longlegs, is a thing where they make a pact with the devil.
Okay,
right, and Longlegs played by Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
He is like the avatar, if you will, in the sense of finding people, finding victims. They make a doll, and he puts the essence of the devil in that doll. And once that doll goes into the house, it controls the family to kill each other.
Okay. Kind of like a voodoo situation, or
so voodoo's a situation, but also like Amityville horror kind of thing as well, influence.
Okay.
But one lady, she makes a deal to save her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
That she has to bring these dolls to these families. And so she's making sacrifice of these other families to save her daughter. So that's what the guy is doing.
Okay, so it's like Sinister the Rings kind of situation. Continue the curse in order to save yourself.
Correct. And or your child, or save your child, right? If you want your child to live, this is what you gotta do to honor that. All right. For I don't take your child. So that's what Houston, what's his name again in the movie?
Vincent. We'll just say Vincent.
Okay, Vincent, because he's been centuries old. He mentions that.
Yeah, he doesn't show that he has healing or anything like that. He just doesn't age.
Right, because he made a pact with the devil, and that pact is sacrifice these innocent people, make them commit murder. I want this person to kill this person or kill themselves. So he'll go in their ear and say some gibberish, whatever it was, because we don't know what he says, but he just.
Well, you do also see something like with the eyes, like his eyes, like flashes of images, but they don't clarify that. Like you've seen images of like memories or their life or anything like that.
Right.
There's a lot of unanswered questions.
Oh, of course. But the thing is, like, you see that the first time he does it, he see that the girl kills herself, the blonde Asian.
Yeah.
But then we see that Shelley got controlled and she killed her friend.
Yes. So I think he can
do it the piano.
Like, to certain levels or control like to certain.
Well, no, extents. He said he puts them in a trance.
Yeah.
He puts them in a trance and they do whatever he says. And he made her kill her. Right? So the video is criminating of him and her. But here's the thing. She kills that girl in front of all her friends. Mm-hmm. They're still friends with her?
I mean...
Why would you still be friends with someone who just killed someone? I'm sorry. I would not be friends. I would not be friends with you.
From the sound of it, like they all been influenced at one point. Because like, or at least the other guy. Because they remember the guy at the club warned her that like Vincent was around or was still looking for her. And when Eric found him, he told him like, I still hear his voice. In my head.
Oh, did he say that? Okay.
Yeah.
But it makes no sense because again, when they escape the rehab center, she's with all her friends, like nothing happened. You would think with all of that friends that knew what she did, that would not be so easily friends with her, or that there would be some kind of like PTSD.
It would have made more sense if they showed him doing like more subtle things with his voice. Like gradually corrupting people more and more. Like the piano player they introduced, the girl that was riding around with him, who disappears, mind you.
Right, after when the mother kills herself, which was predictable.
Yeah, but like she's been around the whole entire time. Like she's saying things like, I would have made more sense if like you see him like gradually whispering things to her and she's doing more and more corrupt things. And Lord knows they invested more time on story
way too much
than action or anything.
Well, the thing is like what I liked about the first one, the original, they got to it.
Yeah.
Well, they got into it, and then as things progress, we're learning more and more and more.
Which
flashbacks or dialogue with each other in the sense of what's happening. So we learn as we go along.
Yeah.
Where here it's just like, oh my God, get to the killing, get to the fighting already, please. But the thing is, again, I didn't believe them being in love. It felt like more like they were infatuated with each other. When you first see someone, you start, how like the honeymoon phase, that you love each other, you're crazy. Like, I doubt that he had a girlfriend until then, because all the stuff he dealt with. Maybe she had met multiple boyfriends, what have you, but I doubt that like he had someone that really showed affection to him. He tried to kill himself. We know that. We see that a scar on his wrist. So he did try to kill himself. But I think it's like she is giving me attention. She likes me. I like her. It's infatuation. It's not love.
After he sees what happens, his love was no longer true because he had doubt.
Right.
Which, like, if this was the original, do you think Eric Draven would have doubted Shelley in any capacity?
No, exactly. The thing is, like, with Eric and Shelley in the original, their love has been long lasting, meaning that they've been together for a while.
Yeah.
They were living together.
They were like the ride or die.
Exactly. And here I'm thinking that they've been together for 3 months since they met at the rehab until the death. That's what I'm thinking of, because of course they don't go for the time frame, but that's what I'm thinking. Could be less, could be
2 weeks,
maybe, yeah, because they're after her, they're looking for her.
Yeah.
So and they find out where she is and stuff like that. So I'm being generous with the 3 months thing. In the movie and in the comic book, why he puts on the makeup on. Here, he's like, oh, look at this, there's black makeup.
I thought it was more because he felt inspired because of taking the blood thing and it came out of his eyes in the dream realm versus here.
If there was a case, the makeup will go down by his nose from his eyes. It would not be out here like a baseball player. And then, of course, he had the connection to the smile. But the thing is, like, the only thing, and also connection to the original, he's doing it with a broken mirror, just like the original.
Yeah.
Of course, he has a jacket, but that's because of the place that she was squatting at.
Which they focused on the jacket, like foretelling. Like, look at that jacket. We're going to wear that jacket. Well, okay,
I'm so pissed off. I wasted time. And I knew it was going to be bad. I knew it was going to be bad.
I was going to warn you, and I decided not to for this reason, and also just out of curiosity, if they did match up anything to the story in the comics or anything like that. I didn't know. You had more knowledge on that than I did.
How about this? I would appreciate that gatekeeper.
Yeah.
The Spanish, again, what's the guy's name?
Kronos.
Kronos. I would appreciate if it was one of the previous crows.
Oh.
In a sense, like a nice Easter egg or a deep cut. So it could have been Vincent Perez from City of Angels. It could have been Salvation guy. It could have been the one with Eddie Furlong.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if they were the gatekeeper, I was like, okay, we're retelling. And again, it just happens to be Eric. It happens to be Shelley.
Yeah. Or it could have, they could have referenced that he was a previous crow. You're taking on the mantle because.
Well, I took that I took it as it was because he had the trench coat. So I thought that's maybe like a connector. Like if you're going to be a crow, you got to put on a trench coat.
Kind of like that. It's like it's your wings.
Right.
Even Mark Dacascos. Like they could.
He played Eric Draven.
Could have been a different Eric, but I mean. They would have been a callback you would have enjoyed.
It would have been a deep cut. Right. I was like, all right, I got that. So that's what it is. It's like passing on the guard. Some of the cinematography was pretty cool. I mean, it got redundant because every time he kept pushing Eric into the water, it was always a slow-mo.
True.
The crow did nothing.
No. They're like, follow the crow. Purpose. Follow the crow. It will lead you. It never led him. They at least in the original.
It was always following him.
Exactly. And in the original, at least he could see through the crow's eyes.
Right. It was like Beastmaster in the original. Here it was nothing. Like the crow had no powers. It didn't give him any powers. It was just it was just a companion. But they didn't talk. Like in the comic book, the crow spoke to Draven.
I was anticipating at least one point where the Kronos character would speak through the crow.
Yes. That would have been better. It would have been understanding. It would have been kind of cool. They just did nothing of that. What other bad things or faux pas you have here? There's only one good thing that came out of this.
Besides the action?
That was it. That's what I'm talking about. The opera scene. The opera scene was pretty cool, but also stupid as well. And in the sense of all those gunshots.
Yo, I was thinking that in the theater too. Because I'm like, that has to be some good soundproofing on those, opera walls. I know I've been in theaters before where you could hear what's happening in the theater outside.
Right.
Correct. And you can't hear that many gunshots on the inside.
Besides that, because that's a faux pas in itself, but it was like the best thing of the movie.
Okay.
The way he takes down those guards. But again, it makes no sense that many guards since the guy wasn't even there.
Uh-huh.
He was somewhere else.
How did he find them? Like, that was my other thing. Like, so he's doing investigative work to try to find everybody. It's the most shoddy investigative work. He stumbles on everybody in regards to it, by chance.
For me, how do you know they were there? How do you know he was at an opera? They were at an opera or going to an opera. Like, how do you know that?
I think it was a text message. Like someone got a text message meet us here. And
on the phone, he took someone's phone. I was like, oh no, that's why I said there's no face lock on that phone. He just got the phone and picked up. He just really no code you have to put in or face recognition.
Worst thugs ever. The whole thing with the mother, that's not explained too well. She's like, clearly the mother sold out Shelley.
But that's mentioned. Yes.
Yeah.
He sold her out, but also but twofold, in the sense of control, and then you can kill her. You can have her.
Yeah.
To have her life. Again,
she knew what was going to happen.
Right. Oh, I don't understand why she was picking up the broken drink she dropped.
I think she was crying I want my baby back or something like that.
Okay, I understand, but why would you clean up the glass? Wouldn't your servant be doing that?
Again, it's one of those things. They're trying to bring out emotion for the loss. That's where it's kind of failing. Those moments are failing because we are not, as the audience, connect with the Shelley character or the Eric character. And
I could not. I like again. I could not. I could not believe their love for each other.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like that's supposed to be the core of it. So even the
right,
supporting
the
motivation, and even the supporting characters, as much as they are wanting to act and pull that through, you're not getting that from the core. It's hard to get that from the support. So it's like bleeding a penny. Who's the best performer on here? For me, I'm trying to pick one. I'm gonna say Bill Skarsgård.
He sounded weird. It sounded like his voice was dubbed.
No, I think he was trying to do a thing like where he's trying to make himself sound timid.
For some reason, it sounded dubbed. The best performance?
Yeah.
The guy who got the one of the thugs, the lady's bodyguard.
Oh, the creepy one that kissed Shelley?
Yes. So I would say that's the best performance because you can see that creepiness and evilness in him and stuff like that. Yeah. Also, let's go back to that. So he's killing her, right? With the plastic bag.
Yep.
Her hands are right here trying to stop his arm because he's also choking her.
I don't count that because that's done in like countless movies, and I've always had an issue with that.
But no, listen to this. Her hands are right here. Plastic bag over her face. She can't breathe because the plastic bag is suffocating her.
Yeah.
Her hands are right here.
She can pull it out.
Rip it or poke a hole in it with a finger.
Yeah, I've seen that countless times in movies where they do that, and the hands are free, and they're like,
yeah.
And they can't do nothing. It's
where Eric Draven's, I think it's Eric Draven or Eric's arms were like behind him or to the side because his arms were never near him, where he's watching her die, and as he dies.
Oh yeah, he full on got pinned.
Who's the best performance for you?
In the theater scene, Marion, like that one moment before she dies and talking. I thought that was the best performance she had in the movie. Overall film, I'll give it to Vincent.
All right, I can see that. She was okay. Yeah. But she was her best. But she was also. But really, she was like really tough, like really like whatever, because she was not threatened. Whenever she was threatened, she would cower like a straight up bitch.
Absolutely,
she would cower like that. But she was like when she had her enforcers next to her and stuff like that. She was real tough and real arrogant. But when there was a threat, she was like, "Oh no!"
Oh yeah, that's what I like that because reality is like when you're dealing with a person that is full of power. They're going to be very tough. Oh, you take away that power, which in her case was her thugs, her goons, the people she hired, her mercenaries. She's a coward.
All right. Let's go over the best part, which was for me, the opera scene. I enjoyed it, even though it really made no sense. And then where like all these guardsmen are there, fully loaded, shooting up everything, and no one hears a peep. Yes, it may be music playing and stuff like that, but for those who are next to the walls and the doors, you should be able to hear that. I can understand if you're in the center and like right in front to the stage that you can't hear, but everyone else is out to the sides.
Yeah, because she sat on the balcony seat and he was like right out the door also when the shots were out fired.
And the funny though, the sword he has is not really a sword. It's not it's a shuto, it's a shoto, which is a small sword.
Yeah.
And diato is a traditional samurai sword. That small one is meant for either the fight with two hands, or you take yourself out in the samurai.
Okay.
You commit harikiri or seppuku, and same name, but the way how it's done is named differently. But I just found that funny. But I liked how he took some of them out with it. Like he has it pierced through his chest. And he falls on the guy to stab him, and then he puts the sword
thrusts
into
himself
eye.
into somebody. Yeah,
I mean, it was kind of cool that he used his body since he can't die.
He's not martial artist.
No, he's not. He's not using the sword as if so. Yes,
I would have thought it better though, because let's be honest, most people who collect swords, let's be honest, don't collect proper swords. They're usually like display or like the metal is not. It's not good for fighting with.
Right.
So
yes, not that much. Like the way that it did damage. Yes, like a professional made sword could outlast. But if you made it like you get it from, I don't know, like
his buddy that's a tattoo artist,
right? The blade would have been dull way before
or broke.
The end of the scene. Right.
I would have given more credit if that had happened. Like maybe one or two strikes, more thrusts, and the blade breaks, and maybe he uses it that and still. but still
right,
like,
but it's broken.
yeah. And I would have been
Right, but
like, that's a good cut. Yeah.
He slices people's heads off cleanly, at least 2 people, and then an arm as well. That's bone. You're cutting through bone.
Yeah.
That come on, that's not made by Hattori Hanzo from Kill Bill.
He removes heads, bones, jaws, and like clearly with that sword.
Also, Fupa, because again, we went for that. That's the only best scene for me. Vincent was taken out way too easily. For a man who lived for centuries and has been giving the devil
his due,
more bodies and stuff like that, like he's been serving him for centuries and all this stuff, you would think the devil will come back. Well, the devil is selfish anyway, so maybe not. So I've been told. You would think the fight between the two of them would have been far longer.
Mm-hmm.
It was bloodier. Simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was simple. It was like the fight with Eric Draven and
Top Dog.
That fight was a long fight.
Yeah.
In comparison, they're going hand to hand, sword to sword.
There was also, threat. Not necessarily for Eric. Well, for Eric, but also for Sarah
in the original movie. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And the detective.
Exactly. Right. Well, there was a detective here, but he was bought out.
Yeah.
Yes. But even Kim was like, "That's it. That's it. They're done. They took him out that quick."
It took almost half the movie to get to him being the Crow, and even at that, it took him time to become the Crow proper.
No, but I'm talking about Vincent being done with.
It
was like, and that snake thing, like, what was that snake thing? It would have been better if, like, crows, like, okay, in City of Angels, I don't know if you remember it, but the City of Angels, Vincent calls all the crows, and then they fly behind him and through him, like an arrow, if you will, to hit the villain.
Which they kind of did for Eric with one crow, was like it absorbed into him. So I felt like that was an homage to City of Angels.
Maybe, but I thought, what I thought was going to happen? I thought wings were going to show up out of his back. I thought for some reason, but he just falls into the water, and then some kind of snake thing takes him under.
To me, it would have made more sense if Kronos showed up one last time instead of being the paramedic. If he showed up one more time, and he's the one that drags him.
Remember me?
Yeah.
Or no, it's like, you remember me? And it's like, you, and like, oh no, like they had a history.
Yeah, like he's the one that made the deal.
Correct. That would have been a nice one. But yeah, if
it would have been closer to Ghost Rider, but yeah.
Like, I have not seen that movie.
You never saw Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider?
No, because I heard it was so bad, and people say it's still bad. But
he beat 2 of them.
I know.
The music soundtrack wasn't even that better either. It wasn't. There's nothing catchy about the music.
No, I heard some like notes here and there that was a callback to the original. It was very subtle, but I caught it.
Okay.
But again, very subtle.
No catchy lines.
Yeah, there was no catchy lines. There was no one like Gideon. Oh, that's what it is. This movie also didn't have any comic relief.
Yeah.
The original Crow had some comic relief moments. Yes, it's a revenge film, but there's some humor or funny moments to break up from the intensity or the solemnness.
Absolutely.
Here was just like, so it was just like, and of course for the audience though, we need to see some change of pace, or it just drags you down. So these guys, the drug rehab place, why they're wearing pink, I don't know, but he has a blade. Guy almost killed himself. How come he has a blade?
It's like a ship.
Right, but how come he has it? He should not have that. But then he cuts off the monitors with it. Like that. So easily.
No, they show that same shiv on the floor when they find the monitors.
No, I understand. That. I'm saying he used it, right, because we saw it earlier. But the thing is, the monitors should not be that easy to cut through.
No, this is true too. Oh. My thing was they jumped that barbed wire fence like it was nothing.
Oh, he puts the...
It's the worst draping of the... That's why I'm also talking back about it. This is all in his mind, which negates the entire... Or her mind. Because the thing is, like, he everything about the...
Because we don't see them cross over. We just see him put it up there, but we don't see them cross over with the barbed wire. He puts the thing over the thing. It's not even open to cover some distance.
Yes.
He just wraps it over there, and then
space covering, and like, whoa, I can't believe we made it. I'm like, so thinking back to it, I'm like, yeah, this sounds like this is all in her mind.
It has to be, and that's why I think it's not like a rehab center. I think it's a mental hospital too.
Yeah, no, there's I can vouch for that. Like there are mental hospitals or clinics that will be rehab centers at the same time, so they do both.
So that's what I'm thinking. Like this, like the person was off her rocker. and she happened to meet this guy, and then she had this fantasy, and that's what I'm thinking.
For all we know, Vincent character still exists and still
Or
lives.
the thing is, it's like, like when the fence thing,
yeah,
they didn't get past it.
Well, no, that last scene shows that like the two of them, because Eric's
they're dead, but I'm just saying like that. Well, okay, then that negates that. But since he died and she was able to be resuscitated, that Vincent is still alive, correct? Like you're saying,
her mom's still alive.
Her mom is still alive that she wished to dead. So the stuff that we see is that what she wanted to happen.
Yeah.
And then the other people, Eric and the tattoo guy, are all casualties and stuff like that. What happened? I don't know. But it's just like, this is not worth the watch.
No.
Again, going back to Rotten Tomatoes to close this off, probably lower by the audience, but as of now on Rotten Tomatoes, it's 20% by the critics and 66% by the audience. I say is even lower than 20. What about you?
35. I'm going to be more generous because I started watching one of the other movies, and I mean, quality of picture in CGI is better. I'm kind of in the minds of comparing things, so I would say that part's better. But story and whatnot. It's still pretty good.
Which sequel is better?
I started watching Salvation.
You find it better than this one, or you find this one better than Salvation with Kirsten Dunst?
Like the graphics and
Kirsten Dunst. Excuse me.
Yeah, with the graphics and whatnot. I haven't. I just started it and I haven't actually finished it. My opinion may drastically change.
Okay, but do you see how it becomes the Crow? I thought it was pretty cool.
No, I didn't get to that part. I literally just started it, and I was like, "Oh, this looks like
the
it was
way
made for TV."
Okay, I can see that. This was definitely made for streaming. This could definitely have been on streaming. And it would have been like, it would have gotten high viewership because people would have been curious. But it would have like
the car, the henchwoman's car. I was like, isn't that the same car from like? That's like a Pontiac Fiero. It's like she's driving.
No, I thought you know what I thought it was? I thought it was the DeLorean at first.
It wasn't even a DeLorean. It's like
I know, but that's what it looked like because but when the doors open, I was like, okay, it's not the DeLorean. Yeah. And also, wait a minute, hold up. Where did he get the keys?
I know.
Didn't the valet have it?
Yeah.
And the valet didn't move the car? He just, I thought they left it there for the valet to move it.
That car did not have like one of those alarm systems. It was like, like that's an old car. And I'm like, for a woman that lives like wealthy life, I'm like, that's a most random car to have.
Right. But the thing is, like, I thought they dropped it off for valet, like a valet, like opened the door and accepted them, whatever, blah, 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 and got the keys. And then he just, and then the valet didn't even move the car though. Like the car was in the same spot where it was dropped off.
That bumper, the thing that stuck with me about that car is like that front bumper looked like it was about to be falling off. It was like
the car didn't make the car made no sense. It made no sense.
It's a small nitpick, but that stuck with me right now. So we said not worth the watch. Is it worth even stream?
In the safety of your home and drinking and doing maybe
shots,
some other things? Yes.
Okay.
In my opinion, no. Don't even watch it on streaming. Watch Boy Kills World. Watch Deadpool and Wolverine. Watch Godzilla and Kong. Watch Roadhouse, the remake. Again, that's another movie that did terrible in comparison to the original.
It's still better.
It's better than this.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God, it's like the season of remakes. You know they're making a remake of Enemy Mine?
Did not know. I'm upset now.
Yes. And
you messaged me about like Cliffhanger 2, and that upset me.
Sylvester Stallone still climbing. How? I don't know. But yes, that's coming out. Cliffhanger 2. That's got greenlit to start filming. Mm-hmm. And I love Cliffhanger. I love freaking John Lithgow in that. He is awesome. He's one of the best actors to play a villain.
Yeah, he does great work.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, I'm done talking.
Is that gasoline I smell?
They had that here. They had none of that catchphrase, none of that stuff like they had in there. It was like, oh my God. Like, I'm telling you, the original Crow is, in comparison to this, is a freaking masterpiece. It's not, but compared to this, it is. Like, you know what? All the faux pas I had on
the original,
I'm like, you know what? I forgive you. You're fine. I wonder what James O'Barr is thinking about this. He's still alive, so I'm always like, you know what? Maybe he's getting money. He doesn't care.
I don't even know if he watched it. Sometimes people will just be like, just collect that $1, and they don't want to see it.
Well, he's probably moved on. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the things, I don't want to deal with it and all stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, for those listening, watching, read the original comic book, watch the original movie, watch the sequel and you're good. Okay, this should have went straight to DVD or streaming. Can we go now?
Yeah, I thought I was gonna. When I said gasoline, that would have been a good closing.
Fair enough. All right, guys, that is our review of The Crow. Have you seen it? Do you?
I'm sorry.
If you did like this or hated it like we did, leave a comment below. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Until next time, we'll be the next time. I'm Angel.
I'm Adon.
Love you, bro.
Love you too.
I want to see the original again.